welcome to Talking Press. Talking Press.
Talking Press. Yay!
Talking Press. Talking Small Press, episode 49, with Steve Keeter and me, Larned Justin. So we tried to do this yesterday, and we had mucho problems.
Muchos problemas.
Yeah. So today it looks pretty good. So I think we're all right.
That's good news.
The first thing I wanted to do before we get started is give our friends over at Comics in the Making a shout out. That's Ryan Holgerson and Levi Erickson. And I'm telling you, if you are just starting out in small press, or if you've been doing small press comics for a while, these guys have some great info. I mean, they talk about the real details of what you need to do to make a comic. And they're very good at it. They've been doing it a long time. Both excellent artists. And I would recommend going over to that YouTube channel for anybody that's really interested in making comics or understanding what it takes to make comics.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to see the much younger version of what we could have been.
Yes.
These guys, they're but we're
they look just
the
like
geriatric
us when we
version.
were younger. Yeah.
That's right, exactly.
Yeah.
I think neither one of them has a good mustache like this.
No.
Or a good beard like yours.
No, they didn't learn that yet. That's one of the things they haven't learned yet, as a matter of fact. So anyway,
it's a great show. It really is.
Someday, but no, no. All kidding aside, very, very good YouTube show.
Yeah,
so,
just popped up out of nowhere.
Yeah, they've only been on not too long. I think the two of them together may have 4 episodes together. I think Levi started by himself.
He started with another guy. There was another guy out.
Was there another guy? Okay.
Yeah, at first.
Now he has Ryan, and Ryan is one excellent cartoonist, I can tell you
Levi
that.
is a trooper, man, because he was working, even when his air conditioner wasn't working, he still...
he was still making the video.
Did you see that one?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, the air conditioner was like 95 degrees outside, or 100 degrees, and he's like, we're going to do this show, man. That's all there is to it. We owe it to small press. We owe it to the people, man.
Yeah. I got to take a quick break here real quick. I've got to do an invitation to a black screen so that we can get our comic covers up in here. So let me do this invitation.
Wow, I thought we were going to have like another person or something. Maybe like invite Joe Biden. This is Small Press Comic. That's my Joe Biden invitation. How'd you like it?
Good.
I'll let you get while he's doing that. Let me just say something. Okay, a lot of you think that Larned and I are separated by several states. You think I live in Florida? I think he's talking to his wife.
No, I'm trying to get this.
Okay, well he's doing that. Let's play around. Okay, but actually, and Larned lives. The rumor is that Larned lives in Missouri and I live in Florida. This is not true. Larned and I are right here together. We're here together at the same time. If you want to see us both, here we go. This is Larned in person, right here with me. Welcome to Small Press Comics. Hi, I have a beard. You can't grow a beard. You're not macho. You see, that's Larned right there. That's him. And he's here with me, so that proves that we actually live in the same vicinity. Larned, is this you?
Yeah, that's me. I don't know why you can't recognize me.
I'm not Larned. Wow, you lied to me. That's okay, I fixed the problem. We're just waiting on... We're waiting on this black screen.
No, just a second. This black screen's got to come in here.
Yeah, we're just waiting.
And there it is right there. Now we got that. And we can put our... well, we can do it a little different way. There you go. That's how we usually do it. Right?
I'm hearing an echo.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, I know what it is. How about now?
Perfecto.
Yeah, that was, I had
Muy
to mute the
bien.
mic. On the black screen has a life of its own. So I had to move
Yes, indeed.
his mic. So I muted his mic, so we should be okay now.
Okay,
far
I want
as
to
I can
mention
tell.
something. I want to mention something right off the bat.
Okay?
Okay, and it's Jim Maine's Sci-Fi Shall Not Die. Now, this is the hard copy of this. Jim had sent me a JPEG, not a JPEG, a PDF of the entire publication. There's an illustration by Larned in here. Now, I reviewed this already. It's page 12, illustration by Larned.
Oh, I don't even remember this. This ought to be good.
Remember this one?
Oh, yeah. That was for, he was doing something with science fiction movies from the 50s.
Yeah,
And I did that one.
There's a lot of illustrations of science fiction.
Right.
Science fiction illustrations based on movies.
Yeah, that's what that was.
This is interesting because this is like the Amazing Colossal Man.
Oh, I remember that, yeah.
Who did this page? Is this Tom Ahern? It looks just like Tom Ahern. Let me check something out. What page was that? 23? 22 is Tom Ahern. Now, the thing is, maybe this is supposed to be the Amazing Colossal Man. But it looks like my character, the Titan. Looks just like him.
No kidding.
And Tom Ahern has inked Sunwing and the Titan Adventures, that I've written for my small press comic for the Sunwing actually. So I don't know. Maybe this could be either my character, the Titan, or the Amazing Colossal Man. But it's really cool. Okay, I'm going to mention this because this is actually some stuff that we review ends up on our Patreon page. We have a Patreon page. And it's inexpensive. Well, it's like $3.
$3 a month.
$3 a month, and we have other videos, all kinds of other videos. I still want to refer back to the AI video where we interviewed Dan Burke and Tom Fellrath, and they were giving their. That's one of my favorite ones on the Patreon page. But if you want to check it out and you want to see some other stuff that you're not going to see on this page, Larned will have the information down below. I'm certain.
Yes, the information is down below on every episode. And the other thing is, we did spend a little Patreon money on some books that are in the mail to us. So that will be coming up, and that is the idea of Patreon, that we can buy some books that you don't normally see and show those on here too. So books that people send us is great. That's what we strive for. That's what we do the show on. But we want to purchase some that are a little harder to find, and that's what we're using the Patreon funds for.
Yeah, that helps us to promote small press. I mean, we get a lot of stuff. People are kind enough to send us their small press publications.
Right.
I'm also in the UFO, so I get any UFO United Fanzine Organization books that are published. I get free copies of those. Free copies are great, but we know you guys you're spending your money to do your thing, and you're doing great work. And so sometimes if we see something that we're really interested in, we'll go ahead and order it. But those Patreon funds help us to afford to buy your zines.
All the Patreon funds go back into the show. We don't spend them on anything else except comic books.
Yeah.
So
Cheetos.
Anyway, all right. I think we are ready to get. We got a lot in this episode that we got to fit in.
Cheetos and Diet Pepsi. We spend money on that too, but we don't spend your money on that.
No, you do, and then you send me a Cheeto once in a while in the mail.
Right.
But
half a Cheeto because I need the other half.
Half a Cheeto, yeah. Before they tune us out, I suggest we do some comics.
Yep. I got something. We got a lot of stuff.
Yeah, we got a lot. So
you have this one?
We did that one already. I'm sorry.
No, we didn't. We mentioned it, but we didn't actually review it.
We did that.
Yeah, it's from Ian
sorry,
Shires.
I don't have that.
We mentioned it's okay. We mentioned it at the end of the last episode, and we mentioned that I was just looking at it, and we mentioned that it's one of the ones coming up. I will say, okay.
Go
so
ahead.
we don't have to spend a lot of time on it.
Go ahead. It's not really a comic book. It is Ian Shires kind of telling people what he's done. Go ahead and show that.
Yeah, when we saw him at the space convention, he said this is all about know me.
Getting to know Ian.
Yeah, so he's talking about what's happened to him over the last couple of years, and he's had some health problems and stuff, but he's coming back strong. So, yeah, okay, we won't get into it too much. Ian is back. He rejoined the UFO. He published Dungar the Barbarian before, and Self-Publisher. Self-Publisher was
Self-Publisher was real big for a long time.
Comics Reviewing. Anyway, he's back, and the bottom line is this.
Now let's have fun.
Let's have fun.
Isn't that what it's all about?
Yeah. So he's back, and Ian, we mentioned you twice now. Yeah. So
send money.
Send money. It's probably like $1. I think it's like $1. Just send him $1, and he'll send you this.
Yeah, postage, I think, maybe.
But he's got more stuff coming up. Stuff coming up.
He's back. Yeah.
And great to see Ian back up and publishing again.
Okay. All right. I got this one.
Matrix.
Sherman Burnett.
Sherman Burnett, you bet.
This is interesting. We've got to talk about the very first story in here by Donald Tenney.
Yep, Donald Tenney.
We've got to, we're just going to show you the artwork here is a little bit difficult to follow.
Oh, yeah, the thing about Donald, I've been watching Donald.
I was just going to say, it's just a really different style. I don't quite know how it was done.
I think Donald, he does mostly on like an iPad or something. Does he?
You think?
Yeah, I think he does just about everything.
Quite like that.
And this story, there's a story by Sherman Burnett for the first story. Well, these are his characters. Artwork by Donald Tenney. I've been following Donald Tenney since he popped up on Facebook a year or two ago, and he's obviously a talented guy. I mean, you look at some of the faces on the characters.
Intricate artwork,
They're expressive.
It's kind of unusual because it's a lot in there.
Yeah, it's a little difficult to decipher because first of all, it looks like it could stand to be re-inked. The thickness of the lines, there should be thicker lines on the characters in the front and thinner lines on the, but basically it looks a little cluttered. Now this is not a you could say it's a criticism, but the thing is, Donald, it would look good in color because then you can see.
I'll bet, yeah.
But you see a lot going on here, and like I say, Donald is clearly very talented. It would look good either in color or there you go. The faces are all good here.
Yeah, I'd like if he watches this, maybe he can tell us how this is done. It's kind of neat, but
I think it's done.
When you reduce it down to a mini comic, I think that may affect it a little bit.
It becomes a little cluttered.
Yeah.
But it's still totally it's still readable. It's just that you want to be able to
different than you're used to.
Yeah. You want to see the characters in the front a little bolder, and in the back a little.
Then of course he's got another story in there by Tony Lorenz. Right here.
We love Tony Lorenz.
Home. Tony Lorenz has to be the busiest cartoonist in history.
Yeah.
Everything I look at is by Tony Lorenz. I don't know how he has the time to do it.
And
he is so good. He does such great cartooning. How does he do it that quick for everybody?
Sherman Burnett wrote this story, but he's talking about his character. The Matrix is his character.
The Matrix is Sherman Burnett's character. And that's what
Yep.
this story is about, of course.
And yeah, I mean, I like the artwork in this one. I
Very nice.
I always
Very
enjoy
nice.
Tony's work.
Yeah. Well, we've got other comics tonight in this show that Tony has done. So, like I say, one busy cartoonist.
Yep. So it
this
reveals here.
I was going to say, this is 32 pages now, The Matrix. It's 32 pages, and it is $2.50 from Sherman Burnett. I'll have his info down below.
Definitely worth that, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Debbie Andrews is the Matrix. And she goes to, she has a daughter. She goes to visit her family. She meets her father, or her parents are there, and there's some scenes with her daughter. And what else is going on here? It's not just a
Finally,
family
toward
reunion.
the end here, you get really into some, the action part of the story.
Yeah. Her parents don't, she has to convince her parents that she's the Matrix, and she's like, well, how about this?
Yeah, and she's floating in air. Yeah, I like
Floating
that
in the air,
page. It's
glowing.
cool. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. But it's continuing a tradition of comics from Sherman Burnett. He's one of the, he's one.
I don't know how long Sherman's been doing
writer,
this. It's got to be a
publisher.
long time.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the back, now, the thing is,
he tells you in
comic.
the I was going to say, he tells you in the Matrix missives a little about this. You kind of have to, he tells you kind of have to have the previous issue, and this issue came out, I think, before the previous issue, I can't explain it, but he can explain it in here. So it's a little different. Matrix 23 is what you need to help you with the story in this, is the way I understand it.
Well, one of his characters, Miss Amazing. Miss Amazing. This is Miss Amazing. She has a battle. There's a group of bad guys out there, and the particular bad guy that she has a battle with is what's his name, like Blaster or something like that. I'm looking.
Okay.
But yeah, it is kind of small, but it's still cool. All the artwork is good. I'm not sure who did the artwork on this particular story. But it all holds together very well. There is a wraparound full-color cover by Scott McClung, who is utterly amazing.
Yeah,
anything he does is great.
Yeah, very well done.
And Sherman, a lot of his heroes are females. A lot of female superheroes. Don't go watch the movie The Marvels is coming up. It may not be great, but anything Sherman Burnett publishes is absolutely worth taking a look at. So.
Now he also sent Scarab.
Oh,
a little mini, 75-cent mini. This is #1 Scarab special. And guess what? The art is by Tony
Lorenz.
And the story is by Guy Sparkman, who is coming up later in this show also.
Right.
So, once again, you have Tony Lorenz art.
Well, the Blaster is actually in this story. I can't give you the stories mixed up. But the Blaster, it's been 2 years since Lawrence Abner dove into Nevada Chemicals and he disappeared. Well, later on you find out, it's comics, so nobody really disappears forever. But we, but
look at this panel. Look at this panel. I mean, I'm big on the art part of comics. Look at that panel.
Yeah. That's the new Scarab.
Yeah.
And
That's quite
as
a
opposed
pose
to,
there.
I guess it was her mom was the original Scarab, and she's taken over that role. Yeah, it is an interesting picture. She's just yeah. I had to stop and look at that one.
Yeah, I know. I went, whoop.
Yeah, but she has this staff or something that she uses to swing. And there's a really nasty villain in here called the Skull. Let's get a good shot of him.
I'm trying to find one that I could get a picture. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
kind of right here. See the skull?
A good close-up.
In the inset?
Yeah, that's actually the one I was looking at. Yeah, right there.
Right in the inset there.
That's a nasty-looking guy. Yeah. And the new Scarab, she comes across a group of heroes.
Look at all the heroes that are in this.
What is it? The Freedom Brigade? I just read it. The Freedom Brigade.
Freedom Brigade, is it? Yeah, look at that.
The Freedom Brigade, and they're older, wiser, but they can use our help because I think they need some young blood in the group. And so,
well, they got a pretty good sized group there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Anyway, very cool.
Look at the end. They've got even more. They're showing even more of the new heroes. There's like, and these are like descendants.
I was showing that. Yeah.
Descendants of the original heroes. Right. That's what you were showing. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you got a whole group of people. It's like all in the family.
Yeah.
You got one guy here. He busts through a wall to save a Scarab. He looks a little bit like Ben Grimm, but he's a stone figure. So you got a bunch of powerful heroes, and they're going up against the Skull, and they're going to track this guy down and the organization that he's part of, and clearly he's not going to stand a chance. So, some nice perspective scenes by Tony Lorenz.
Beautiful.
With the Scarab up there on a rooftop.
And also,
really nice.
Yeah. Back here, you got 4 more Scarab issues that are available. So, I think that those may be $1.75 individually. This one, number 1, is 75 cents.
And then there's there's a editorial from Sherman Burnett. He didn't do the story or the art, but he published this, and they're his characters, by golly. So well worth supporting. He's been doing this stuff for a long time, and I always enjoy anything from Sherman Burnett.
Oh yeah.
So. Yeah. There's another scene of the bad guys.
Yeah.
That Skull guy, he's pretty creepy.
There's a skull right there. Yeah, that's the bad guys.
Yeah, Lawrence Abner, at the beginning it mentioned he fell into a vat of chemicals. Well, that's Lawrence Abner.
Didn't do his face any good.
No, it wasn't helpful at all.
No.
He could have, he should have fell into like a Retin A bottle or something.
Yeah.
Maybe a little sunscreen, something.
Okay. So, up next, I guess we could do, how about Uncanny, issues 1 to 4 collected.
That's the one I had on top. Right there.
Is that the one you had right on top?
Yeah,
all right.
I was ready for this one.
Great minds think alike.
This is by the great John Muller. I can't say enough.
John Muller is one heck of an artist.
One heck of an artist, and that's for sure. I mean,
now I will say this: the collected is on newsprint.
Yeah. How rare is that?
Is fantastic, but I do notice that on newsprint, when you go to your real dark blacks, you can't probably see it on the screen, but I can see it. It's not as dark as it is on maybe a more shiny type paper or something.
Yeah, I see
Still
where
great, but you can notice a difference.
it's a little grayish, you know. There's some lines.
It's a little,
and stuff.
yeah, a little see-through. If I got the light just right, maybe you could see it, but.
It doesn't interfere with the story. I mean,
Oh no, not a bit. I'm just saying you can
excellent.
notice the difference because it is on newsprint.
I'll mention John Muller very quickly here. This was the cover of the latest issue of Tetragrammaton Fragments, the UFO News. Look at this cover by John.
If you can look at the girl sitting there, show. I don't have that right in front of me. Show the girl, and you'll see the brightness from her phone against her face. You see that? It puts a glow around her.
Yeah.
That is very tricky to do, to pull that off. And it looks better in person when you see the real thing. But
this is
that
cool.
Is pretty cool.
Cause they're at a comics stand where they're selling comics, and they're looking at a bunch of actual small press zines.
Yeah.
Back there. So stuff from Tom Fellrath and. Everybody, Kurt Erickson. I mean, you can actually see some actual zines, and the back cover is the same scene, only from the back.
Yeah, you see him from the back. Yeah. But
so that was a great cover.
Uncanny Action with John Muller.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Now, I mean, the artwork is fantastic.
Pretty cool.
It really is.
Yeah.
Let's see what we got.
And the heroine, of course, here. This is the heroine. She's the center of the story.
She says, "It had slept for thousands upon thousands of years, and I will kill it." So you know there's some high drama going on here. And, yep, so that's the heroine.
That's not the heroine.
That's not the heroine?
The heroine is the girl. Right here. Yeah. Let
me check something out here. Yeah.
And she has this gauntlet that can show her the targets that she's after.
So this must be her.
That could be.
In any case, there's some exciting action here.
Look at that.
For 2,000 years I've lived here. Yeah, that's Big Monster. Big Monster trying to eat a cow, and she runs to a. You know, she's not gonna stand for that, and so it's a continued story.
Yeah. It is 1 through 4. So I'm not quite sure how that works.
Yeah, I'm not sure where these were published before. But,
that's what I'm. Oh, I think
he's compiled the first 4 stories, and she's off on a mission. She comes to the Great Hall at the end.
See, this is uncanny. This is Uncanny Action number 1, and it covers. Let me see.
Number 1 through 4.
Covers pages 1 to 4.
Yeah, but it doesn't actually mention in an editorial or anything where exactly these were published before.
No.
Maybe they were in another small press comic.
1 to 4. I'm trying to understand this. See what it says here? Uncanny Action number 1, page 1 to 4. Uncanny Action number 2, page 5 to 8. Uncanny 3, and then 4, and then we have Uncanny Action 5. And I read this wrong when I was looking at it. I read it as collected 1 to 4, but that's pages 1 to 4 of issue 1.
Okay.
I think. And John may have to correct us because sometimes we don't get this stuff right. But that is number 5 right there with a beautiful full color.
Right.
Cover.
We've seen that one, definitely.
And also, look at the back.
So this gives you some background information here. So.
And here's the kind of stuff John does. He does concept art, graphic design, comic book production, writing, penciling, inking, coloring, lettering, advertising, game design, and art illustration logos. Now, what else could you do?
Multi-talented, absolutely. I think right now I would have to say that John Muller. Again, I really haven't heard about John Muller.
I never did
my
either.
bad. During the last couple of years, he pops up and he's just this great talented. He can do it all,
that.
as you said. So
My
yeah,
gosh.
yeah.
And this, like I say, this is Uncanny number 5. Just tells you in here. And again, our heroine is in here.
Right. I don't have that one in front of me though.
Oh, you don't? Okay. Well, this is very cool. This is on. Now, here we go with slick paper. This is on very slick paper.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And I think it helps his artwork even more on this real slick paper.
Yeah.
I like it.
His artwork deserves the highest quality reproduction. I mean, it's that good.
It's very short. It's only a couple pages, but you can get the idea. And very cool. It's only $2, but you're really getting some beautiful
Absolutely
art.
worth it.
Yeah.
His work in color is even more amazing. So
yeah, really nice.
Really.
What an artist! Wow.
One of my recent talents, who I don't know, he may have had a long history, but I've only seen him over the last couple of years. But of all the recent talents, he's right at the top of my list of one of the finest artists in small
really
press.
Good. Yeah.
So, yep.
Okay, what do you got next?
What do we got next?
See if you have the same thing I do this time. That'd be funny.
I got a small press action theater here.
Right on top, buddy. Right on top. You would think we had rehearsed this.
Yeah.
I don't believe it. We got it right here from Joseph Morris, our friend.
Joseph Morris.
Yeah.
This a little different from the other stuff we've seen from him. He doesn't do all the work.
This is very different. This artist that does the first story is amazing.
He's the same guy who did the front cover. It's Joel.
Yeah, I'm even going to have to put my glasses on for this.
It looks like Joel. It's Cotejar, or maybe if it's like Spanish or something.
Cotejar is what I get out of it.
Cotejar. It could be Cotejar.
Yeah, it could be.
It looks like Cotejar. C-O-T-E-J-A-R.
That's him.
Tremendous.
And it has letters by Mark Haynes.
Mark Haynes,
who also draws comics.
Mm-hmm.
And the character you're looking at, Mr. Midnight, is from Bob Elkins's cast.
Bobalinskas.
Bobalinskas.
I'd call him Bobalinskas.
Yeah, okay, that's good enough for me.
He's
been around a long time.
Yeah, he was the chairman of the UFO a while back.
Yeah.
So we got Mr. Midnight here, as you showed this page.
You can't have better cartooning than this. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
very good.
That is amazing.
Maybe we don't know how to pronounce Cotejar, but he can sure draw.
I'm still thinking Cotejar.
Cotejar, you think?
Cotejar.
I don't know.
Let us know, guys. How do you pronounce that, if you know?
Yeah. Phonetically, some way, write it out. But what an artist. Oh my God.
And this is like traditional superhero stuff.
Yeah.
The hero, Mr. Midnight, who has a pet owl with him,
yes.
Comes up against lightning strikes. This lightning-powered villain, and highly dramatic poses. But really, the panels and everything, the panel layout is great. It's easy to read. It's exciting.
Oh, yeah, a lot of action. Action.
Yeah.
Look at that. Clunk. Now, that's a punch. If you're
it's a fight issue, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's the owl.
Yeah, I see the clunk here.
Here's the owl. That is part of the story. Boy, very, very cool. And then there is a story, like I said, by Mark Haynes in here, where he draws the story.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going to look at something very, very different, very cool, but very different.
It's a funeral. It's
yeah.
The funeral, not a hoax, not an imaginary tale, the death of Dynamic.
Mm-hmm.
So one of these heroes, Dynamic.
Could be the guy in the left corner there.
This shows him in action when he was still around.
Yeah.
Going up against the bad
but
guy.
It is,
wow.
Yeah, there's the service right there.
Yeah.
They're having for him.
Apparently, he was killed in a battle against the evil Eric Equinox.
Yeah, right there.
Yeah.
That's what we think.
Where am I at? Right there. Eric
there,
Equinox. Yeah. What's interesting is it's a pretty straight. Okay, it's a pretty straight. It's a funeral. You know, you got the priest there and everything. You got his ex-lover.
Mm-hmm.
And,
down there.
She's very sad. And
but
all of a sudden,
something does happen. If you can see, if I can get this page right.
There it is.
Notice what's kind of starting to happen there.
This guy pops in there.
Guy. Yeah.
Eric Equinox pops in there.
Mm-hmm.
Very
look
quickly.
At the next panel.
Yeah, I mean, look at the people down below. They're like, oh my gosh, you know.
Whoop. Yeah.
And he pops in, and you can't tell Dynamic anything now, can you? Why? Because of my superior intellect. I did it. I spent my whole life planning for this moment. Dynamic dead. And then he phases out and disappears from the world. He just had to pop in and make his point. But this guy's still on the loose. So I got a feeling his day of reckoning is coming. But yeah, apparently this is a real funeral for the guy, Dynamic.
Yeah.
And then Joseph Morris himself.
Joseph Morris, who is the publisher, has a completely wordless story in here.
Yeah. And this looks
his
like
unique style of cartooning.
It looks like a giant space station. It looks like it has a city on top of it. It looks like buildings and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Cities on top.
It kind of comes down to Earth.
Yeah, and
this
unleashes
little village, I would think.
And sends out missiles. Missiles.
Yeah.
Missiles that open up.
Here they are coming down. Boom, pow, pow.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Looks like quite a mess. And the earthly inhabitants, it looks like they're from like a region of Mongolia or somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, they're there, ready to defend themselves. They don't have a chance, obviously, but...
Yeah. You see the door open from one of those canisters that landed.
The door opens, and these robot beings come out.
We're giving the whole thing away, but these robots come out. We better quit giving the whole doggone thing away.
This is very dramatic. It's not
but it's cool.
like Joseph Morris does a lot of humorous stuff. This
is cool.
So
and
humorous.
This is so hard to do without words. But I can follow it. I can see what's going on.
Since it's a continued story, I think we can mention while the door is open, this satanic being comes out and says, "Repent."
Uh-oh.
Yeah. I don't know. If I saw that guy, I think I would repent.
Probably repent right away.
Right away.
I'm sorry. Yep.
I didn't mean it. It was.
Yeah.
It wasn't my fault. It was my wife. She made me do it. You know, whatever. You know. Don't tell your wife that I said that. Some people get offended. You know.
Anyway, that's this action theater. There's a new one coming out, I think, in the fall, and you want to look forward to that. And the price on this is $4. That's $4. Well worth it. I hope we haven't shown too much.
Anything from Joseph Morris
you can enjoy it.
Worth. I don't think we showed too much. There's a lot of cool stuff in here.
I don't think we did, but we're sometimes guilty of that.
We get a little over wordy one.
We get a little excited.
I think.
Because the art's so cool.
Yeah.
So okay, I'll say we do Yeet Presents.
We're gonna do Yeet. Okay. From Mike Jones and
Mike Jones.
Everyone else who's involved with that. Shane Luttrell is very much involved with Yeet. I don't think he has anything in this particular issue, but it does have terrific. Well, no, we're going to forget that. The front cover is based on Frazetta, and this is outstanding.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a recreation of Frank Frazetta, a drawing, but it's done so well. It's like, and who did this?
Who is that? Who is that by? I'm trying to find out.
Vince Rodriguez.
Oh, okay.
After Frank Frazetta.
But
wow.
this story has a number of artists that do this story.
Written by Dennis Miller.
If you show that, I can read the artists. Just show maybe the first page or something. But the artists: Warren Muzak, Ken Bestard, Lance Butcher, Mark Ryzodik. I don't know how to say that. There's inkers, Warren Muzak and Rob Cox, and letterer Chuck Malley. So there's all kinds of people involved in this, and you will see as you go through, you'll notice the art change a little bit as you go through the story.
Yeah, and Shane Luttrell did in fact draw page 11.
Yeah, and his name not even listed here.
Steve Shipley.
Yes, it is. I didn't see it. It is over on the side. Shane Luttrell is listed, yes.
Steve Shipley
he did page 11. Yeah.
Page 7 and 8. I'll show you the difference between page 6, okay, and page 7. Okay, page 7 is Steve Shipley.
Oh, there you go.
But the inkers on this strip made it so cohesive that you don't notice the switch.
Yeah. I didn't mention Steve Shipley either because some of these are over to the side and I didn't see them.
Inked by Warren Muzak and Rob Cox. So it holds together very, very well.
But here you can see the difference in the style.
Occasionally you can see a difference.
Got this kind of a style here. See that? And then it goes to this kind of a thing.
Yep.
From a different artist.
Yeah. It's all really, really a terrific science fiction artwork. I like Shane Luttrell's page. He's got this monster is revealed. He wasn't immediately apparent, but there he goes, and he has like tentacle arms and stuff, and of course there's a big fight. Now we got this character is interesting too, because this guy was like a victim, and towards somewhere along the lines, he decides to fight back against the aliens, even though he had been captured. And but it deals with a floating transport out there in space, a cargo grifter, and it loses power, and so they're looking for some help. This guy has a character. You can see her on the front. She's transparent, but it's not a real character, like a computer with a hologram of a woman. Evangeline. There's some humorous dialogue between her and the main character. His name is Rex. But he goes back and anyway, his cargo ship it crashes, and there's a time where he's not on the ship anymore. He finds himself on an alien ship and coming across different people on the ship. This one's interesting because okay, he sees this lady on the ship, and he's talking to her. She says, We operate with funding from a galactic conservatory trust. She wants to let him know that she's not on the side of, I guess if it was like Star Wars, it'd be the rebels and the Empire. Yeah. But apparently they've got something like that going on. And he says a little appreciation would be appropriate because he's still stunned. And and what he does, well, I mean, what would a guy do? Well, I wouldn't do this, but he grabs her there.
Oh, watch out! Look out!
Sexist pig. That he is. Yep. He says, "Now, ma'am, I can be very appreciative," and she's not too happy about it. And he says, "I'm sorry. I'll be here to behave myself in the future." But he loses control because she's very attractive. Not funny, sexist pig, man.
There you go.
Male chauvinist, but a funny male chauvinist. And there's a lot of there are battle scenes. Remember
scenes.
The big tentacled monster.
All kinds of stuff.
And there's a lot of action here. And like I say, it holds together very well for a story that's 17 pages long.
Yeah.
I won't show you the ending.
Okay. I was going to say, if you're done with that part, the next part is very cool. This is The Evening Fish Wrap.
Yeah.
By Don Simpson, who is an excellent artist.
Absolutely, really.
If you don't know what the Evening Fish Wrap is, it's a newspaper. But when you're down around the docks, they sell fish and wrap it in the newspaper. So that's
you can see. The docks are here.
Yeah, and look at the bottom. Let me see if I can get the docks here.
Skeletons.
Yeah. Right? I can't get it. I can't get it.
Giant octopus tentacles coming up out of the water.
Yeah. Done in 2023 also. It's not old. Yeah. And the story must be by Kyle Robards.
Right.
But the art is by Don Simpson.
Don Simpson has a terrific cartoony style in his script.
Yeah, it's just great.
It's reminiscent, I think, of Will Eisner a little bit, the spirit.
I would say that a little bit,
and I'll mention that too because there's a story. I'm skipping ahead, but there's an artwork from William Messner Loebs. There's actually a drawing in him, an illustration. Looks like a wash illustration of the spirit.
But that is by
William Messner Loebs.
I think but let me see something. Let me if I can find it, I will look it up, but I can't find it. Where'd it go? Oh, there it is.
It says copyright Will Eisner.
Will Eisner. It's Eisner's drawing.
Is it his art? Because it says the art of William Messner Loebs, and it's signed
if you look down there in the corner, if you look in the corner, it says Eisner.
If you look on the right side, it looks like Will has signed it. I think I think it's a recreation. Like the cover. The cover is a Frazetta recreation. I think this is a recreation. Either way.
Could be.
Either way, it's totally cool.
He might have recreated that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He certainly has the talent.
Yeah. And on the next page, we have Joe Carrales. Improbable Girl and the Wonder Kitty short story in here.
Right. And this is
Black
sort of an in-between story, looks like.
Yeah, kind of.
Looks like
this is a recap,
girls,
it says. It says recap of I guess of the story. I don't know what he means by recap exactly, but okay.
Well, the girls are they're going to interview a calamity. A calamity? No, a candidate. It's called Candidate Calamity.
Candidate Calamity Part 2.
Going to meet the candidate.
Yeah.
There's a Joe Carrales' artwork there in black and white this time.
Yep, black and white and black, white, and gray, as a matter of fact. So
yeah.
As all. And
the doctor.
Oh, and then he did the last inside cover is in color. How about that?
A little extra, a little plus.
Yeah. How about
this
that?
This is the evil Dr. P. Moses.
Yes, and he
He's
has
he's a scientist with insidious motives.
and a magnifying glass also.
And yeah, so
so you got
well,
a ton of stuff in YEET, which is always true. YEET is always good.
mhm.
And that's Mike Jones produces YEET. Is that correct? I think.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah,
Mike
Mike
Jones. Yeah, this one. If you wonder, you know, one thing I would like to see more of in Joe Ely Carrales' artwork. These are superheroes, so it would be cool to see more of the superheroics. He concentrates on the character development stuff. At least it has Nico, the Wonder Kitty, turning into a little kitty in this one.
Yeah. Well, we do have a Joe, the whole book coming up here shortly. So
yeah.
this is, but yeah, they don't always do their superhero stuff, even though the girls are superheroes.
So it's a lot of character development. So that can get kind of involved, kind of intricate. And but that's what he's doing. But it would be cool, you know. It's a comic book, and it would be cool to see some exciting action. And you know, if these are powerful girls, you know, like Marie is kind of like Supergirl.
On the back page, he shows 3 covers by Don Simpson coming up for the Improbable Girl and Wonder Kitty. Don Simpson does a great job. In fact, the one we're going to review here is a Don Simpson cover. So,
yep.
Yeah, cool stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, all in all, another great issue of YEET Presents. You can contact Mike Jones about ordering info.
I'll have his information down below, and you can. I think, you know what's funny, it says that the price is 10 cents. Now, that's a bit of a throwback, because you're not getting this for 10 cents. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah, it doesn't look like that, yep.
It's published by cost of paper, so you're going to have to pay for the cost of paper on this. And it's more than 10 cents, I can tell you that.
Alrighty.
Okay.
So,
what do we got next here?
Well, you want to go straight into the Improbable Girl and the Wonder Kitty?
We can do that with a cover by Don Simpson.
Yeah. That's just really nice. I can't stop looking at his artwork. It's such a contrast. Very different from Joe Ely Carrales.
Yes.
But rather cartoony, somewhat 1950s, early 1960s. It's actually the way it looks to me, as far as the style goes, but very attractive, and it really stands out. I mean, you really notice it when you see it.
Yeah.
So,
I think there's 2. If I understood this correctly, there's not one continuous story. I don't believe. There's the beginning here of. Let me see here.
Well, we got a nasty bad guy. He's Duke. What is it? Duke Daniel? Duke Daniel of Xandu.
Oh, that guy. Yeah.
That guy right there. He looks like almost like a Nazi guy, you know.
Yeah.
And
they're in a this is in a different country to start off with.
They're the Caribbean stronghold headquarters of organization ORCO, O-R-K-O. A meeting is already in session. They're not happy with the U.S., and especially with these mail clerks who have disrupted their plans in the past.
Those mail clerks really are a pain.
Yeah, darn mail you know, the supreme leader is here listening to all this. Silence! Enough of this disgraceful prattle. He's a dramatic figure. I don't want to take any crap from anybody. There's an evil accomplice for the Duke Daniel. Her name is Dafida.
Oh, yeah. That's her right there.
There she goes.
Right there next to him.
Yeah. So the supreme leader says...
And she doesn't put up with any baloney from anybody, as a matter of fact. She'll tell him off or anybody else.
Yeah, she talks to the Duke. The Duke, he's a higher up, and she says
care.
She says, try anything, and I'll ensure a bullet makes its way into your brain scan.
See, you mess with her.
So, you don't mess with her, man.
Don't make her mad.
Yeah,
That's as simple as that.
She's bad news. Now, the Duke has a guy that is going to help him, another guy in the organization, Leprechaun.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's Leprechaun right there with the big specs. And this is a long issue. So I don't want to get into too much detail because...
No, we can't do that because it is very long.
Yeah.
And lots and lots of detail in here.
Duke
that
Daniel
you have got to pay very close attention.
Yeah. And it turns out Leprechaun, Dr. Leprechaun tells the Duke that there is a treasure in Wales over there by England. So they head off in search of the treasure. The High Commander, the Supreme Leader, gives them 25 other people to work for them, and they go off, and it turns out the treasure is this amulet. It looks like a little amulet, but it's it's a very powerful amulet. And I can tell this much because but there is a dispute between the Duke and he's pissed off. He's pissed off because it's a trinket. It's an amulet. Where's the treasure? And he says, Leprechaun says this is the treasure, and they get in a little dispute. The Duke pulls a gun, and Leprechaun unleashes the power of the amulet, and so much for a Duke Daniel.
Yeah,
at least for now. That's why I'm saying I can give away that part, but I can't give away the ending.
Can't give away too much here.
Yeah. And
this
some of the story
this is a long story.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say this is 36. Wait a minute. No, that's not right. 32 pages.
Yeah, 32 pages.
Or 31 exactly. 31
all in beautiful
color.
Full color. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I do have one comment here that I don't know if Joe may not be too happy with me, but what Joe's done here is if you look in the first panel, you will see the girl has fallen down. The first panel below is a close-up of the same panel, and then the right panel is a close-up again. That is copying the first panel, pasting up the second panel, and pasting up the third panel. That's okay, but I wouldn't rely too much on that. You got to draw your comics. There's, I know it's the same. They're speaking at the same time and all that, but you could show a shot from above, a shot from the side, rather than copying the same picture over and over.
That's not a bad idea. Perspective shots.
Perspective.
Above,
do a little of that.
Angle.
Because it is a comic book, and you are the director. You're the cameraman, you're the director, you're everything in a comic book, and it's a lot of work. And this is long, so I can understand why you might want to take a little shortcut. I wouldn't recommend it. I don't do it. I draw all the panels, but my books aren't this long. This is a lot of work.
Right.
Just something I noticed that he did here. And,
yeah, you can see.
He'll probably say something about it because he has a part in the back of the book where he gives learned lessons.
One thing I like about Joe is that he responds to your questions.
Oh yeah, and, if I say this in this video, he is going to write me up in here. I love it.
Learned said this, and this is what I have to say to Learned.
Know what he's talking about. Which is probably true. So,
but there is a story, and there's a lot of action.
Yeah, there's a lot of action. It's a very complicated story. You've got to pay attention to it. There may be a little bit too much.
There's a lot of words in this.
A lot of yeah. This is a comic book. Tell the story with pictures. That's what a comic book does. But anyway, it's just a complicated story.
I remember back in the early '70s, and I remember talking with Chuck Robinson, who was the guy that put out comic and got me into small press. He coached me along as I put out my first book of any substance, which was #1, and he was saying, get rid of as much dialogue as possible, and let the story tell the art. And
the art tells the story.
This is one sign of a great artist. If he can tell the story.
Yeah.
Ditko did it. Kirby did it. When they worked for Stan Lee and for Marvel Comics, they drew the stories ahead of time without any words.
Yeah.
And Stan added the dialogue. So, but as a graphic medium, the more the art tells the story, the less it's necessary for long captions and long word balloons.
Always remember that when you're drawing comics. The artwork is designed. That's why it's a comic book.
Right.
The artwork tells the story. The word balloons assist and they clarify a few things, but basically you want the artwork to tell the story.
Having said that, I mean, you could see, if in this particular issue, for instance, you could probably get rid of a lot of the artwork and just, like you could write a novel or a short story, because it does tell the story all along.
Oh, yeah, it has a lot of detail and tells the story in here, you know, but there is a lot of, you can see there's a lot of word boxes and all that kind of stuff.
A lot of description, even in the dialogue.
Yeah.
But, you know, this is Joe's style, and I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying...
No, I don't mean that. But for me, I like artwork. That's my thing, you know. Sometimes, I remember when I was a kid, I would buy comic books and not read the words at all. All I did was look at the pictures. I didn't care anything about what it said.
I can remember that.
Yeah, I did that all the time.
Yeah.
So it's just something I've been brought up with all my life, that the pictures tell the story.
But Joe has...
He has a great imagination.
Ton of energy. Right. He's got a ton of energy. He's very enthusiastic about what he does.
Yeah.
He has a story in mind, and he tells that story the best way that he knows how to do.
This is a big book, so this is $10. You know, this is not only did the story 32 pages, but there's a bunch of pages after that, and it goes all the way to page 40. So there's 40 pages in here.
Yeah. And it is an involving story. So if you read it very carefully, you get very involved with these characters.
I'm not a patient reader. I'm terrible. I am terrible.
But I wrote, like, one of the early stories I wrote in Mantra, because of what Chuck Robinson said to me, I did a couple of stories that didn't have any dialogue at all. They were just pictures.
To do.
Yeah. And,
we just looked at Joseph Morris doing that, and we could follow it perfectly. But that's hard to do.
Yeah. So you
I got to have a few words.
Have to let the artwork tell the story.
Yeah.
That's the type of medium that comics are.
That's what a comic book is.
Comics, captions, and word balloons, all this stuff is useful, but I would limit those to what is absolutely needed. That's my opinion. Nonetheless, we love Joe Carrales, and we love everything that he does, so I'm not going to dwell on that too much.
Just trying to help. All we're trying to do is help.
Yeah.
Let's hurry up. Getting late.
He does say nice stuff about us.
Oh, yeah, he's always very complimentary. So
here's a picture that Joe did of Larned and me.
In his book.
Yeah, and you can see, even in these drawings, I'm still the better-looking guy.
I noticed that, and I'm going to talk to Joe about that.
Yep.
Okay, here we go. We got Guy Sparkman.
Where are we at? We got the guy? Okay.
Action Hero Adventures.
Action Hero
This is issue
Adventures.
number 1. Guy Sparkman story. Tony Lorenz art. Again, Tony Lorenz.
And Verl Holt Bond cover in full color.
Yeah, the full color cover by Verl Holt Bond.
Yeah.
And this one is $5.50. The price on this is $5.50.
Mm-hmm.
And this story, again, gets here's his artwork in here.
Well, this one reprint. The first story. Do you remember the first story is a reprint?
Yes, the first story has been printed before.
Right. About.
It's kind of a cool little story. You can't say too much about it or we give it away, but it's kind of neat.
Right. It's about this rocket ship lands on the Earth.
Yeah.
And is found by this magician type
He's
guy.
a kind of a he's
Lazar.
Kind of a,
the sorcerer. Lazar the sorcerer.
He's a sorcerer. There he is, right there.
Yeah, and he finds little reptilian, a guy in the strip in the ship, seemingly innocent, except he looks like an alligator man.
And he kind of takes the guy in,
Takes him in, adopts him as his own son.
Yeah. He thinks, boy, this is kind of neat. I'll just kind of take care of the guy.
And years later, the reptilian guy, something inside of him turns him into the monster that he was meant to be. He attacks. He has 2 brothers, and he attacks one of them here. But he starts to reveal himself for his true self. And we reviewed this before, so.
Yeah. Pretty cool.
And the surviving son, after I guess he kills the sorcerer. Does he kill him too?
I don't know. I wouldn't give too much more away because it's a short story.
Well, he tries to kill his family. There's one Zartek. The reptile is banished. He's banished to another dimension or something. And the other son, Zartek, goes into suspended animation to await there in case of the return of his brother Arthur.
Arthur is a strange name of a reptilian guy, but Arthur is. So.
And
but then, are you finished with that one?
That was chapter 1.
And chapter 2 is completely different because it's chapter 2 of a different story completely.
Yeah.
As far as I can tell.
It's the same story.
It is the same. How does that? I don't see how they connect.
It happens years later. Right. They're in the Wild West days.
Yeah.
And there's a killer on the loose.
Yeah.
What
does it have to do with the first story?
When you get towards the end, you see that. I'll only fast forward here.
Okay.
There's a lot of there's evil killer. He rides around with an axe.
Yeah, he's a serial killer with an axe.
Yeah, and they chase him from place to place.
Yeah, they're after him. There he is, right there with the axe. They are after him.
Right,
but this story,
the good guys befriend this Indian who can become half man and half wolf. There he is. While they're seeking down, they're going to battle the bad guy. Here's what happens. This strange hooded figure appears.
Yeah.
Okay, and this lady, she's one of the good guys. She says, "What kind of creature are you?" And that's where it's revealed.
But here, there's also this wolf man here at this point, right before the other guy appears. There's a wolf man here.
But the wolf man is actually one of the good guys. The thing is, the reason that it's not so obvious is they don't actually show him.
He's attacking one of the guys there. Or that's a bad guy.
They don't show him in his reptilian form.
Oh, maybe that's what I missed.
Yeah, so he's in this hood.
Okay.
Where's the part? There's a part where
I missed that. Okay.
Yeah, there's a part where the brother who was in suspended animation, he's a Xander or whatever his name was, Zartek. He comes to help them. Let me see. Here you go. Here you go. The monster attacks the Wolfman. Right there.
Okay.
And the next panel, this other figure appears from another dimension. He says, "I told you, Arthur, I would be here if you ever returned."
Yeah,
So you see, his brother, the other son, has come back to do battle with him again. But it's subtle, you know. That's why it's easy to miss that. I had to read this like a couple of times.
Yeah. And then
But I
there's
got
somebody else that shows up also here. This little guy.
The Blue Dwarf.
Yeah, the blue dwarf. Where is he? Where's the blue
Sapphire.
dwarf? I can't find it.
He's right here on the next to the last page, inside this
I'm in the wrong place.
Dimensional thing. Yeah. And at the end, he's calling on him. Sapathwa is his name, the Blue Dwarf. The good guy is calling on him. He appears, and they go off into another realm, a magical, mystical realm. Looks like they have minotaurs and all kinds of centaurs, all kinds of fairy tale-like beings. And then it's left to be continued. But that's what's happening, and that's why it was easy to miss. And the first time I read it, I missed it too, just because.
You know,
he mentions
trying
his
to
name.
read a lot of comics, trying to hurry to get them read and all that. I missed that completely. You know. So.
Yeah. And some of these comics are some of the stuff is very subtle. You know, you got some writers out there who like to put in a little mystery. They like to make things a little bit ambiguous sometimes, and you're like wondering what's going on, you know. And you have to reread it, and you go, "Oh, now I get it," you know. And that's what happened with this one. But Guy Sparkman, he's a pal. He's been publishing for a while. The only criticism I could have of Guy Sparkman, he's heard it before, is that sometimes the grammar in the stories is a little off. You know, like he gets the verb tenses off.
Yeah, I read that he was working on that. Couldn't be any worse than me. I can't spell nothing. I mean nothing. I have to go look up every goofy word.
Yeah.
You know, terrible.
But otherwise, just look at Tony Lorenz's artwork.
Oh yeah.
And
nice.
always worth checking out. Guy Sparkman has a lot of ideas. So
and they're all in that story.
Yeah. So he's got a fertile imagination.
Yeah.
And looking forward to his whatever comes next. I can't wait to see the sequel to this now. I want to know what happens.
Yeah.
You know, with the alien, the monster.
Sure.
Here's on the front cover. There's that Wolfman guy.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, we better move on. We are getting.
How far along are we anyway here?
I don't know. I don't know when we started. I forgot the.
You lost track?
I think we've been on an hour. But.
Yeah. You want to keep going, or you want to save some for the next time?
Well, I mean, they sent, Strange Times they sent quite a while ago. Maybe we ought to finish with Strange Times. Because he did send that quite a while ago.
Yeah, well, before, in that case...
Tom Fellrath, Strange Times.
Mm-hmm.
And this
it's all Matt Levin.
Yeah, this is the rubber stamp artist Matt Levin, who does the entire issue. This is $6. And it is very thick. It's 58 pages for $6.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Oh my gosh!
It shows Matt Levin's work.
And if you know Matt Levin's artwork, you'll know what this is like. If you don't, it's going to be very different for you. Very different. It's all rubber stamps, and.
Matt does something nobody else has done in small press. Yeah. Nobody else has been able to achieve what he's been able to achieve. He just
adds a few words to these rubber stamps to not necessarily tell a story, but to get you thinking, and that's, you know, comments on nature and things like that,
You know,
all through here.
there's one point here that's on page 16 and 17, and he actually talks about it in his story. And the rubber stamps, it looks like a realistic comic book scene. He says, "I like the simplicity of stamps.
Yeah.
All over forest, only one tree." He goes on and on, but this is the kicker, and this really tells you what you need to know about Matt Levin. He says, "My hope is to create a minimalist elegance."
Yeah. And that really tells you what he's all about.
That's what he does.
The entire book is that way.
And much of this is in color.
He also writes music. There's some music he's written there. Plays the guitar and writes music and does rubber stamp art. And I think somewhere in there a picture of the wall where there it is on the back. Look at the rubber stamp.
Ah, that's the wall. I mentioned this
The
before.
wall. Oh my gosh, look at
That's
that.
incredible. All of his rubber stamp images are on the wall.
How many rubber stamps he has.
Somewhere in his home.
Man.
But this guy he's pretty much created his own unique art form by using all of these rubber stamps, and he has quite a collection of them. And it's just beautiful the way he puts this all together. Some of this, it's all it's lyrical and it's poetic. Some of this is in full color.
Yeah. He even lists the rubber stamp companies that he buys from. Back here.
I saw that too. I'm just trying to figure out the colors. I'm going to put on my colorblind glasses here. I am colorblind, and I do have some colorblind correction glasses. Let me see what it looks like. I see blue. I think I see some orange or something there. Am I right?
I can't find a page.
Oh, I see green. That's page 15.
Page 15. No wonder. I'll explain to you what the colors are as soon as I find them.
This one here, it's hard to see.
They're blue.
That looks red. Is that red?
It's a browny red. Yeah, I would you could call it red. It's kind of brownish.
I'll take it.
Fish, green weeds, stuff like that.
But this gave me a reason to break out my colorblind correction glasses and take a look at it.
As a matter of fact, I've gone colorblind from reading this.
Yeah. Well, okay. I mean, you can start like anywhere. Let me just pick a random page.
You can look at anything in here and it's kind of neat. There's a lot of standalone.
Myths and magic.
And he does things he calls music comedy, music comics. He's done that for a long time.
The myth is that we can make ourselves giants, transcendent. And you see these figures here. Get a little more colorful again there. And eternal.
This right here is the discussion between generations. The discussion between generations. You see that? That's what that is.
What page is that?
That is on page 31.
31. Oh, I was on the next page.
So the alligator is talking to the dinosaur. The discussion is between generations. And then there's some wordless rubber stamp work here too. Look at this. Just wordless. You know, you can do.
And I've seen him use those pictures before. They look kind of like
I have too. Yeah.
French or Italian or something, you know, with the beret and the.
And then the cat down here is wordless.
I mean, I wonder if that's supposed to represent him.
There are some pictures in here that I think he said might be him.
Yeah?
He draws a little bit on here. Very thick lines when he draws.
Well, look at the way he puts together. You can see, I mean, seriously, I'm not kidding, because I've seen a lot of stuff in art museums and stuff. And you could put this in an art museum. This could be on a big canvas.
Oh yeah.
People would just be going like gawking, saying, "Hey, this is really nice," and it starts with rubber stamps.
Yeah.
But you can see how he puts it all together, how it all holds together, how cohesive it is, and how beautifully it's put together.
The moon over the water.
Mm-hmm.
At the beach there. Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Look at that.
And this is all mixed with. He shows. I think you might have showed this, but anyway, he shows the lyrics for some of his songs.
Mm-hmm.
The lyrics and the chords. I can probably break out my guitar and you know, work on that. You know.
Walking Man Comics, right in here. That is his artwork, his drawing. That may be him.
I was wondering that as well. I was wondering that as well.
Yeah. Anyway, there is something very different.
And there he is too.
You get a piece of, I would say, a piece of art. Limited edition art, because all small press are limited edition. So you're getting limited edition art with this.
But this one, Tom Fellrath has put together.
This
is a keeper. This is an owner, man. This is 60 pages. 60 pages, and you go, okay, where's the superheroes? There are none. It's just, you're reading through this, and it's magical. It's otherworldly, but it also it's got heart. It's got soul. It touches you.
And it's also got Daffy Duck. So you cannot go wrong.
Oh, Daffy's in there, huh?
Yeah. There's Daffy Duck right there. So how are you going to go wrong with a comic that includes Daffy Duck?
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yeah.
5 or 6 years. He's talking about being married and being with his wife. And this is lovely. This is moving.
Mm-hmm. Dancing.
There's a lot of emotion here on display.
You say no superheroes? Wrong. Look at that frog.
My goodness. Almost no superheroes.
Almost no superheroes. But this is Super Frog. So he even includes superheroes in the comic book, because a comic book has to have superheroes. What a cool book. Wow. Tom Fellrath thought of doing that. That's pretty good.
This says music comics. This must be a song too for Benjamin when he was young. Is Benjamin his son?
Probably.
But it's a lullaby. It says, comfort to you.
Probably
comfort
is his son.
Please let my words be, also my voice be, comfort too. Sleep, sleep, find you easy. Sleep, find you soon. Find you under the passing of the moon. Sleep, find you under the passing of the moon. Well, he keeps, he's repeating things, but he does it in a poetic way.
Yeah.
And in a way that makes a point. And this particular point is a lullaby.
Well, I think we've got a couple left, but I think we're going to have to save them the next time. We found that going too long is not good. So we don't want to go too long.
Well, somebody, you guys might sit through an hour of video, but if it gets like 2 hours, you might be going like, fast forward,
So we'll just save. We've got 2 more. We'll save them till next time.
Absolutely.
And if we have to fill in with space comics that we picked up at Space, we'll do that.
Oh, we got more space comics.
We got more space, so we've got plenty of comics to do. So we'll add these, the 2 that we didn't do, to the next episode. So thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next episode.
Thanks for watching, folks.
Hey, welcome to Talking Small Press Comics, episode 50. How about that?
50.
Episode 50 with Steve Peter.
Yay, fireworks, fireworks.
Justin. Hey.
Yay.
How about
Howdy,
that?
hi there. Howdy, hi there, friends and neighbors.
Yeah. So
somebody
we're
said
excited.
that.
We had 50 episodes. Holy mackerel. I don't know
That's
what
hard to
year,
believe.
how many years we've been doing it. Maybe a year. I don't know.
No, it's what is it? A year and a half? I don't know.
Maybe a year and a half. I don't know. But anyway,
50
let me do
episodes.
a quick teaser for the next show. We will be featuring, if I can get these both.
Larned is such a tease, folks. He's such a tease.
I have to show these one at a time, I guess.
Yeah. I got those. I got them back over here, though. Well, I don't have.
Okay.
I got one of those. I got that one.
All right. That is, the one I'm showing here is The Big by Levi Erickson. And the other one is Pizza Night by Ryan Holgerson. And they both have a YouTube channel. You may know about that already. It's called Comics in the Making. And those two books will be in our next episode. So what you need to do, you go over to Comics in the Making and look at that, and then watch our next episode to see what their comics look like. How about that? So
I like a winner.
yeah, we're looking forward to that. But that's in the making. That's what's coming up. And for now, we got a bunch of comics again. You know what I noticed this time?
What's
We don't
that?
have any full-size comics. Every one of the comics we're doing that I know of are digest or mini. We don't have any full-size.
Now, we reviewed this one last time.
Yeah.
But right, you're right. They're digest or
there's
mini comics.
No full-size comics this time. Which
And the
is
reason
interesting.
I have this up here for a reason.
Oh,
I have
okay,
this
go
for
ahead.
a reason.
Go ahead.
First of all, because I want to keep gawking at this great cover by Don Simpson.
Yeah. Very,
Still
very
blown
good.
away by that, and the sneak preview of the upcoming
Number
covers
3, yeah.
by Don. Wow. I mean, that's great stuff. But also, because there was something we neglected to mention last time, I'll mention it very quickly. There's a guy out there named Brian Amstetter.
Okay.
Brian Amstetter. And that's not him. That must be him right there. But he's been publishing something called a Chief Coffee Cup. And, it looks like Joe Carrales is going to be compiling a bunch of the episodes of this. And it's pretty funny stuff. Here's a sample of Brian's work there. But apparently he did this. He was in I guess he was in the Navy. Yeah, he was in the Navy. Chief Petty Officer, or the story is about a Chief Petty Officer who has an obsession with coffee, and he's done a lot of strips with this, and it needs to be put into a book. I'm not sure. I guess these strips were published, Navy periodical or something. But Joe's planning to publish these in a book. And here's something else, and I want to say, looking forward to it.
Yeah.
This is a pretty good cartoonist here, and funny stuff.
Thanks for your service, by the way.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for your service, and we're looking forward to seeing this. So, Joe, do it, man. I want to encourage you. Go ahead and publish this guy. We want to see more. Looks good.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
Good. All
That's
right.
your
What do we
plug.
got now? Let's go. We got to get going because we've been accused of having the show too long.
Yeah. Let me see what time it is. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we got a lot of comics.
Yeah, we got a lot of little comics.
A lot of
Which
little
one you
comics. Pam Bliss.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
We got a bunch of stuff. Of stuff from Pam Bliss. Good grief. There you go. And
I got all those. Look at that.
if she isn't one of the most talented people, one of the most talented people ever in small press, I don't know who is.
Pam is very clever. I mean, these, you would really get a kick out of these comics. They're so different and so clever. I mean, I just enjoyed the heck out of them. They're just great. All of them are little, a couple pages. Some are a little longer. Prices are, $2 to Maybe some of the bigger ones, maybe $4, something like that. But
interesting. What's interesting, I remember somewhere in one of these books, she mentions, it's in this one, Origins #1, a Keikionga. I guess it's called Keikionga.
Yeah, that's her. Isn't that her webpage? Keikionga?
I don't know. I have to check it out. At least it's the name of her publishing outfit or whatever. But this is the same book. It's a flip book. You can flip it over. This side is the very first mini comic she ever published.
Yes.
Reprinted. And the other side,
a newer one. Yeah.
Is a recreation of that one.
Yeah.
Decades later, and she does it. She does the same story again, but it's interesting. She's got a lot of information about it. Well, this is text,
what I liked, her printing for her zines is so good. But when you look back at the early one she did, you can see the little difference. She has improved so much. They were both fine, but the newer stuff, she's right on with it.
Right.
Her lettering is perfect. You know, I really like that.
This is from the original version that was published in 1988.
See if we can show.
What I wanted to say, go ahead, show pictures of it. It's cool, but I wanted to say something because she has an editorial here, and she mentions 1988. She went to the Chicago Comics Convention in 1988. She met Matt Feazell. She had brought her portfolio, but she hadn't published any comics yet. She talked to Matt Feazell. He explained to her how to make a mini comic. Matt Feazell has influenced so many people.
Yeah, very cool.
You know what? I was there at Chicago in 1988, and I can prove it. This is Matt Feazell's. This is Matt Feazell's video of the show. And you can see me right here. That skinny guy in the blue shirt. Yeah, sitting next to Jim Main. That was Jim and me, and everywhere at Chicago in 1988. And I don't know if Pam stopped by our table. She said she went to Artist Alley. I remember it was in one big room. Artist Alley was. All the small press stuff was there. I was there representing the UFO, but Matt Feazell was there as well. And there's Matt. Right there in 1988. So this is kind of cool. I don't know if Matt still has this available, this DVD, but it's really cool. But she was there. I might have met her. I might have talked to her.
You might have.
I didn't know who she was. She didn't know who I was, apparently. So a little bit of history
there. She was just starting out. Anyway, I want to show her comics. This one is Souvenir de Paris.
Souvenir de Paris. Or Paris.
This one is Mr. Rock Mission Equinox. I just want to show these so we get them on, This one is that up there. Another Day, Another Mysterious Stranger.
It's just like
and this is the origin
Another Day, Another Mysterious Stranger.
Yeah. And then we have The Mummy Princess.
That's a good one.
Ancient Secrets.
Yep.
And then this one is very cool. This is a poem by Hulk. I pretty much I laughed all the way through this. Oh yeah, this is hilarious.
It's hilarious. It's actually
very clever.
He says he's not really the Hulk. He says first, not that Hulk, and related. Cousin on father's side, Erickson Hulk. Happy to meet you.
Yeah, that's the guy.
That's Erickson Hulk.
Their poems. Their poems. Every and with a little illustration next to the poem. But they're very clever. Oh my gosh, you gotta read it. I mean, we're gonna have all their information down there. This happens to be.
There you go.
Mini Works number 61.
That's the Hulk's feet. I'll read just real quick. It says, Hulk want go for walk spring day. Make multimedia poetry experience. Hulk wander through house. Search Hulk flip-flops. Wear flip-flops. Look down. Hulk feet. Oh.
So the whole thing is like that, and I mean it's just a riot. And her cartooning is excellent, right? Very
absolutely.
clever. You know, everything she does is just really nice, really nice.
That's from a Backpack Full Hulk.
Yeah.
Is time Hulk stop? Look at backpack. Research backpack. Think about backpack. Time to buy backpack. Stupid brown backpack. 2 pockets. Hulk put camera in. Maybe poem. Maybe poem for you. That's the Hulk, man. But it's another Hulk. But it's funny stuff. Really, really great.
I would suggest if you know you don't have to ask for these exact ones. Anything that she sends you is going to be great.
Yeah.
So you can ask for the ones that were on our show, or you can ask her for something different, whatever you want to do. But go ahead, contact her, get some of these. You'll get a kick out of them.
This one's beautiful. The Mummy Princess.
Yeah.
I love her art style, her cartooning style.
Yeah.
And the way she puts the words, along, like you're reading along, but the words are on the side instead of a lot of word balloons or captions. It works very well like that, like a storybook.
Yeah, she's just very clever with what she does. Very, very clever.
This one was interesting. Like a little girl, and she finds a doll. She finds a doll that's for sale somewhere, and it's supposed to be a Native American princess doll. In a fake buckskin dress and moccasins. But somebody had cut his hair off. But she looked at it, and she decided she had to have it. But she thought, she was convinced that this was actually supposed to be an Egyptian doll. So she refashions the doll to make her an Egyptian princess. Yeah. Yep. Look at that. Look, everything. The top panel, the panel layouts are really cool.
Look at that,
very inventive.
Cool.
You use the word clever.
That.
Absolutely clever. Yeah.
Yeah. So. She is very, very talented. Very talented.
Very nice.
Very good.
The one about Mr. Rock, which of course it's based on Mr. Spock, obviously. Mr. Rock. He's out there in outer space on a spaceship called Pluto, Mission Equinox. As you know, the equinox is the time of the year where the day and the nighttime are the same exact length. The day and the night are divided equally. That's the equinox. And personal log. Tonight's mission is simple: to confirm the autumnal equinox. So you got Mr. Rock, but he's not. He's on the ship, but there's someone else there.
Yeah.
Looks like a brontosaurus.
Yeah.
Spiny back, and it turns out that is Rear Admiral Grace, who is conducting his annual her annual performance review. So while he's sitting there trying to figure out the equinox, he's being observed by this creature who also happens to enjoy eating wild rice out of a box. There's a little bit of an adventure. There's a giant space worm that appears, and the ship goes off course. And the
Admiral is always enigmatic.
Yep. He doesn't say much. Apparently he doesn't say anything.
No, he doesn't say too much.
While this is going
he's
on,
in charge. He is an admiral, but he doesn't say too much.
Mr. Rock is reading the Odyssey by Homer. He hadn't figured out how to spell Odysseus. Anyway, he says at the end he's pretty much unsure. I remain unsure of the outcome of my review, but at least I did learn how to spell Odysseus.
Gotta get some Pam Bliss. You gotta get him.
No, this is just great. This is great stuff. Everything.
All right, we
so
can spend the rest of the time on Pam, but we've got a lot to do. So
I can't help it. I can't stop showing her artwork. It's too good.
I know.
It's too darn good. It's too imaginative.
Yeah.
Look at that. She is terrific. We love Pam Bliss. I can tell you that right now. We're also very, very fond of our pal Tom Fellrath.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes, indeed.
Collection here. This is where you can catch up on the story here.
Hologram, which
yeah, he's got the whole hologram, counting the days in here. All the stories from chapter 1, which is Overture, and then up through. What was the last one he did here? I want to look at that.
Chapter 10? Let me see. But he's reprinted the mini comics that he did over. Was it 5?
It's 6. Chapter 6.
Chapter 6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's got. I think that's correct. 1 through 6 in here.
The first 6 mini comics.
So you can catch up just by getting a hold of this, and the story goes on. So you'll know where you're at if you've never seen Hologram before. This would be the thing to get. It'll bring you right up to date.
And look at that cover by Scott McClung.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, one of my favorites,
because
definitely.
You can see through this guy, because he's a hologram.
He's a hologram.
Look how Scott did that. Yeah, very cool.
And it details the story from the beginning and the experiment that turned him into this hologram.
Turned him into the hologram, yeah.
In the beginning, he was apparently shrunk down to microscopic size. I
was going to say, William Henry Cadell does the illustration for these.
Right.
Scott McClung, of course, did the cover. And it's Tom Fellrath's story and lettering.
Yeah.
So.
William Henry Cadell's quite an excellent artist.
Oh, very nice. Yeah. He tells a story that would be difficult to tell for a lot of artists, I think. Not easy.
Yeah.
But he does a great job.
And it's a sad story too, because as he is a hologram and he can't make physical contact with human beings, other than he's able to emit energy blasts from his hands in case of an emergency. But this is not conducive to a wonderful relationship with your wife.
Little problem there, yeah.
Yeah. So they kind of have a problem as things go along. He comes home at one point, and his wife Maggie is packing up all his stuff. She doesn't want to live with a hologram. She misses the guy, and it's sad. It's sad. Yeah. It's poignant.
I think what he says on the back here is collecting chapters 1 through 6, which we said, of the 12-issue hologram, counting the days.
Right, but he hasn't quite finished the 12 issues
yet.
so
Ongoing,
it's still in process.
That's why you need this. That's why you need this. And this is $5 from Tom Fellrath, and we'll have his info down below. But
that's a wonderful collection.
Worth it. I mean,
really nice.
Want to catch up on the story? There you go.
Yep, looks like a matrix right there. Well, he's going through something unbelievable. But it's so well written, and it's this story also. It never gets in a hurry. It's so so well paced, and he's up. I mean, here he is. It's Christmas, and he's at home, but his wife is gone. But he's by himself, sitting there, warming himself, I suppose, by the fire. But he's all alone. I mean, that's tragic. But he is something of a hero as well. Well, somewhere along the lines, he does get a chance to use his I pop a car's tire to prevent a child from being hurt. So this car is hurtling towards this child, but he can emit these energy beings, so he pops the tire so it doesn't hit the child. So he's a guy with good intentions.
And when he says counting the days, he does count the days of each day down.
Right.
Heading to the climax.
Yeah.
Right here, and at this one I'm looking at is in 1989. Right there in 1989, and he's counting the days down.
Counting the days down. That was the day that his wife Maggie left him. I saw that picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he tells you how many days it's been since this all began.
I don't know.
Counting down, he says, so many days ago, 11,893 days ago.
There you go.
He's counting down towards the present. So eventually, at one point, we're going to get down to 30 days, 20 days, 10 days, and we're all very curious about what how this
how it ends.
What happens? How does it end, or does it end?
Yeah, or maybe it keeps going. He says 12, but who knows? Anyway, like I said, this is how you catch up. So I would get that if I was you. So you don't get left out. People will be talking about the story. You won't know what they're talking about unless you get that, that issue.
Yeah, what's he charging for this? $5.
I believe it's $5.
Well, it's
yes.
totally worth $5.
But
I'll tell you, for what you get there.
I don't know how many pages. It doesn't say, but that's a lot of pages.
Yeah.
For $5. Oh,
definitely worth that.
Yeah. Okay, we better count the days and move on.
What do you got on your stack there?
Okay, let's do something very different. This is Detective Don Dapper.
Don Dapper.
Let me do a little explaining, and maybe you know this already, Steve. Inside the book, I cannot find any reference to the artist, any address, nothing. But I did find in very small print the words Hoo-Ha Comics. So I looked up Hoo-Ha Comics on the internet. Found out that the artist here, not the artist, let me explain this. He is an artist, but this is not his drawings. His name is Tim Fuller.
Tim Fuller, yep.
Tim Fuller, if you go to that site, which is called, again, hoohacomics.com, you'll find out that he is a professional comic book illustrator, has done all kinds of work for all kinds of comics.
I know I've heard of him, Tim Fuller. I know I have.
Have you? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what this is something different that he likes to do. This is a comic that has reached the copyright has ended on it.
Yeah.
So what he does, he takes those kind of comics and he redoes the word balloons to tell a completely different story than what's in there. He did not draw it, but he tells you a completely different story.
It looks like it was made like in the 1940s, perhaps.
40s or 30s, maybe even.
Maybe even late
40s.
30s. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's very early.
So it's a detective story, but he has changed this to the fashion police.
Right.
And the detective is involved in fashion. The whole thing, which is fairly long, and there's a lot of panels and a lot of word balloons, but it's all about fashion. And the bad guys are, involved in the fashion world, and it is really...
Yeah, here we got it. He's walking along. He's walking along with this lady.
Yeah.
And where is it? Right at this guy bumps into him. There's a guy reading a newsletter. He bumps in a newspaper. He bumps into him, and he says, "What does he say there? Nobody wrinkles my suit. Take that, a-hole."
Yeah.
And I actually like this artwork. I'd like to know who the actual artist is.
I don't know who the artist was, but
yeah.
Who knows what that was originally said, It's a detective story. That originally said something about, cops and robbers and all that, but it's all changed to fashion.
Yeah, he changed it all to fashion. He goes undercover.
Yeah.
There's a group of, sort of a syndicate that's supposedly kidnapping women, forcing them to work running a sewing machine.
Yeah.
And, but... they only end up, apparently, for what it looks like to me, they only capture one woman. They got one, and she's holed up in a cheap hotel there. She's stuck in her room, and Detective Don Dapper, he just happens to be in a room nearby. Interestingly, he keeps saying, I'm gonna. He goes out to eat
Here's
lunch.
a guy. Anton here is gonna design some new clothes for us to bootleg. See, these guys, they're criminals.
Yeah. He's
but
masquerading
they're criminals
as
in the fashion industry.
fashion criminals. Living in a cheap hotel. But
this is $4.
It's a lot of fun.
Now, this is $4 that we got this from the space show when we were at space.
Yeah.
So it says $4 here. When I looked on Hoo-Ha, his website, it's $5. So I don't know. I don't know what.
The other thing, the type's a little bit small, and for me with my cataract vision, it's
hard to see. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I have to go through
Try
that,
to
but I
hold
did
it
read
up
it.
here, but it's small. I can't get the camera to quite focus on it. So
Yeah.
it is small. But there's a lot to read. You could have a lot of fun reading it, going through it, but it is funny. Although, I will tell you this, right here, it is for mature readers.
Yeah,
And only because the language, not because of the cartoons, but the language is a little, you don't want little kids reading it, but for us it's fine. It's not going to bother you.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not for the little kids. They wouldn't get it anyway. so it's not for them. Interesting, and I suggest I'll put his webpage on. That's the only contact we have, so I'll put that in the description. Take a look and look at his resume. He has been around, and he has done a lot.
Yes, talking to the chief. I came straight from the hospital, chief. He'd been in the hospital, and the chief says, "Don't call me chief." And a throwback to George Reeves, Superman. But there's a lot of little stuff. It's I can see why some of it would be. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a little bit of stuff in there, but I wouldn't worry about it. It's nothing major.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
it's very funny.
That is something
very
completely
clever.
different. You want something completely different? Try that. That's what I would say.
Yeah, because I had two things. I'm reading the dialogue, and I'm laughing, and but at the same time I'm admiring this artwork.
Yeah, he doesn't tell you who did it or anything. I have no idea. But I didn't see anything on the webpage about that either.
But you know what? I saw it. I saw the original comic online recently. Somehow I came across it. It was the exact same cover, but it had a different name. I saw it, and apparently I didn't save it, make a note of it or anything.
Cool to
I should have.
Yeah.
But I actually saw the original book. Looked very much the same. Just had the type was all different.
I don't know. He's pretty good, because I don't know how he could change those word balloons so perfectly. You can't tell that he's changed. Yeah. You cannot tell. So he's very good. But anyway, a wild one and very different. Okay, we better move on, or we'll be in trouble with the time gods.
Too bad the type is so small. I think if I could see it better, I could read it right now.
Yeah, it's a little small.
But still cool, very cool. Excellent work. Tim Fuller.
Yep, Tim Fuller.
And I wish I had me some science fiction. If I just had a little science fiction, I think I'd be pretty darn happy right about now.
Well, science fiction shall not die.
Science fiction with this awesome back cover. I mean, that's the front cover. That's the what is it? From 1 million miles to Earth, or 5 million miles to Earth. What was it?
Yeah. Jim Maine.
Ray Harryhausen movie.
Jim Maine decided it would be a great idea to preserve some 1950s sci-fi.
5 million miles to Earth. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The monster.
But aren't these mostly from the 50s, I believe?
Well, yeah. There's a lot of it. Yeah. There's but that back cover that I was just admiring so much is J. Moores, Moores. J. Moores. Isn't that a beautiful back cover?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's based on a movie or not, but I don't care. It's just great.
Well, Here's how we start out, though. If you've ever seen the silent film about the science fiction silent film, one of the first films ever made, you will recognize the moon with the bullet.
A Trip to the Moon by George Méliès.
Yeah.
When I was a teenager, and I started collecting old. There used to be, there wasn't even VHS tapes. You used to could go to Sears and there was a catalog, and you could order all these 8mm movies and show them on your home movie projector. And I had that movie, and I had a bunch of other little short films by George Méliès, and he was like a very, very early master of special effects. Of course, it's all very crude compared to what we see now, but he had people appearing and disappearing and puffs of smoke and stuff like that. And that's what that is.
That's what that is. Yeah, that's from that.
Yeah.
I don't know that I ever saw the whole thing, but anyway, I've seen that many times. And this is done by inside front covers by Alan Freeman. So that's Alan Freeman's artwork, and it looks just exactly like the old silent movie.
Oh, the inside front. Yeah, that's Alan Freeman. Yes, it is. It sure is. It almost looks like the actual movie. Here's some Brad Foster.
What this is, this is every page is a artwork from a science fiction movie, and I'm thinking mostly from the 50s, 60s maybe.
Yeah.
There may be some other years in here, but that's what this is.
Queen of Outer Space.
I can't show you everything, single one, or that would spoil it, but
I believe this was a movie. I'm sorry, Queen of Outer Space. Didn't that star Zsa Zsa Gabor?
I don't know.
It's a Jack Bird from... Zsa Zsa Gabor was in a science fiction film, a really low budget one. I think that might be what this one is. Been a while. I'd have to go back and check it out. On the next page, we have Invasion of the Saucer Men.
There you go. I think I remember that one.
I saw that one on television years ago. I saw it on in Memphis, Tennessee. I remember it well because I watched it with my two brothers, and they had a show, a weekly horror show with a host who was like a vampire. He was called Sivad, S-I-V-A-D.
Oh.
Well, that turned what you later found out was that was his name spelled backwards. His real name was Davis. Backwards it was Sivad, and he put in fangs and a top hat and a cloak, and he was this vampire host. He was I used to watch these shows all the time. Back in those days.
This is the one I did for Jim.
I think you're on page 12, right? As I recall.
Yes. Yeah, this is page 12. That's what I did.
I remembered.
And I don't remember what movie it was.
Now, what movie was that?
I don't know.
It definitely looks like
a famous one. I know it's from the 50s, and I can't remember what movie it was from. I don't know. I did it a long time ago. This didn't get printed for a while,
Nice drawing. Here's something. Page 19. What's on page 19? Brad Ulrich. Now, this looks like something more recent.
Some of these may be.
I'm not sure what movie this is.
Older, but here, even this one. Let me see. This is on page 16. Let me see who did it. M.D. Jackson. This may be a more modern one. Look at this.
Yeah, Michael Jackson drew that. Well, okay, maybe it was a cousin or something.
Oh, anyway, there's one.
It does look more modern.
A little more modern.
Yeah.
At least I think so.
Yeah, and you got Kurt Russell on the next page.
Oh, the Kurt Russell, yeah.
And, what was that? Escape from New York?
That's what I think that is, yeah.
Escape from New York, thus the Statue of Liberty. Yeah, Kurt Russell, and that's another nice one, page 17, drawn by Alan Groening, of course. It would of course be an excellent illo, because he's so darn good.
George Lane III.
Oh,
Is he a friend of yours?
Yeah, George is a pal. He doesn't live too far from here. We haven't actually met in person yet, but it's inevitable. No. It's going to happen. He lives in Central Florida. Verl Holt Bond, also one of my favorite modern small press comics artists.
I don't want to show too much more because there's quite a bit in here.
Well, I mean, the whole book it's all illustration. It's entirely drawings.
one-page illustrations of science fiction movies from the early days of science fiction.
Yeah, but you're right.
Very
If we show all the pictures, you're going to say,
that
I don't need
wouldn't
to
be
buy
good.
the book. I'll just look at the video.
What's
But
interesting,
great job
it
from
says this
Jim
is
May.
volume 2, number 1 of volume 2. So he's done
Volume
this
2,
before.
number 1. Mm-hmm.
I don't remember seeing it before, but he has done this.
He might. I think he might have done it as a larger size before, a
Maybe.
full size.
Might have been a bigger book. And this is $4.50. $4.50 from Jim Main. And I think we have
That's the
28
Emer.
pages. It's 28
Emer.
pages.
Uh-huh.
Pardon me?
This creature, I think it was called the Emer. 5 million
Okay.
miles to Earth, and that was a great Ray Harryhausen movie. I just it hit me, so I had to blurt it out. You know me.
Yeah.
So
Anyway. Very cool. Especially if you're a fan of science fiction, early science fiction. You have to have that book.
absolutely.
So,
Man, we went through a lot of stuff really quick there.
by any chance, let me just, you may not even have this. I don't know. Do you have that?
Yes, I do.
Well,
Lou Reed on
this
the
is a little
cover.
confusing. This is a chick tract size book, okay?
Obviously
chick
based
tract.
on that style. Based on that style. Yeah.
And this is all about the band, the Velvet Underground.
Mm-hmm.
Lou Reed was, of course, in that.
Lou Reed, John Cale. Yeah. And it's
that's
a dialogue.
what that's what this is about. The whole thing is about. If you're a Velvet Underground fan, you would want this.
Nice art. Nice art.
I don't know who did it. On the back it says compliments of, but it's black. We got this in space. I don't know who we got it from. And they talk a lot about Doug Yule. Now, was Doug Yule part of the band?
I think he was the bass player.
Or maybe he started it. I'm not sure.
Nah, he didn't start it. He was one of the original members, though. I had it up. I had it up online a few minutes ago.
Oh,
Maybe
did
I
you?
can dig it up again.
Because I don't know who did this. At first, I thought it was Doug Yule, but I see no, he was just one of the. He was a band member, and that's a picture of Doug Yule on the front. But I don't know who did it. I don't know who drew it. It's very well drawn. Very well done. I don't know who did it.
He played guitar. I'm looking at it right now.
He played guitar. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We've got this from space. Somebody gave it to us. We don't know who.
Apparently, based on this book, and there's a discussion between this kid and this older, where I can't see myself. I'm looking at the Velvet Underground.
The problem is I can't tell you how to get this. I don't know how you would get this.
Yeah.
So we can tell you about it, but I don't know how you would get it.
Yeah, you can type in. I'll type in the Forgotten Velvet. Let me see what happens.
Okay.
Forgotten.
Maybe you can find something real quick.
Velvet.
Yeah,
Doug Yule, the Forgotten Velvet. Doug Yule Appreciation Track. I think I found it. Let me see.
Now, how do you get it? How can you get it?
I'm looking at it. There's a picture of it here. Whoa. Oh, a pack of 10. So it's like 10. It comes in a pack with 9 other books.
Oh, we only got one.
Yeah.
We were robbed.
There is an email address.
Oh,
It's
okay.
but it's long. Mr. Luke and Drew Geddes at gmail.com. So Mr. Mr. Luke LUKEDREWGEDDES at gmail.com. Write it down. Take a picture of the screen, but that wouldn't do you any good because it's not up on the screen.
Won't help
I could, but apparently it comes in a track of 10.
Okay, well, maybe you can get it if you want it. I think you'd want it if you're a Velvet Underground fan.
Yeah.
I would think you would want this. But anyway, we got it. And
I love Lou Reed. Ever since I heard Rock and Roll Animal.
Yeah.
Rock and Roll Animal from Lou Reed. Man, that was one heck of a great album. I learned about the Velvet Underground after I discovered. Most people did, because the Velvet Underground was virtually an unknown band until Lou Reed
yes,
hit.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But it's
well,
it's well illustrated.
A little hard to get, but we wanted to show it anyway.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can send an email to those guys and just ask them, can you just buy the track, or do you have to buy the pack of 10?
Slow the video down so you can hear Steve's Steve talking about the
blah, blah, here's the address, at gmail.com.
All right, here we go with here we go, Steve.
I know what's coming. I know it. I was reaching for it too.
There it is.
The great Steve Willis.
Yeah, Steve Willis, Cranium Frenzy number 19.
Yeah. The master, Steve Willis.
Yes. Now, Steve told me in a letter that starting with Cranium Frenzy 20, they're going to get real crazy. Now, how it can get any more
crazier than this.
Crazier than this, but he's going to do it. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. And how do you do this without giving everything away? You know what I mean? I can't. Yeah. I don't want to give it all away. It's too good. I can show you the pictures.
Yeah, you can start on the inside front cover.
Oh my gosh, yes. We're going to have to give this away, this part.
The Buttercube brothers.
These are the Buttercube brothers. Now, they appear on the back of most of Cranium Frenzy. They've been on there for quite a while, and they were always on the back. Well, they complained about being on the back of the cover. They said, we want to be inside. Well, Steve said, okay, I'll put you on the inside cover. And that's what he did. So what happened was, though, when you close the book, the butter melts. And the butter melts and ruins the funniest joke in the world, which is on the next page.
The next page, you can see the butter
smeared.
Yeah, it's melting to the next page.
It melted on the next page, and the Buttercube brothers ruined the funny joke in the world.
So you start
out
reading
mad about it.
And this guy, you can begin to read it. A porcupine and a life insurance salesman walk into a bar, and then it just
and they ruined it because they're selfish and wanted to be. They couldn't stay on the back of the hook.
And it's too bad because at the end it says sustained laughter lasting for 57 minutes.
See, that's the thing. That's what we're missing out on.
Darn!
And you can't blame Steve Willis. It's not his fault.
Yeah.
So
and I can read you the punchline. Well, I can't help it. I'll read you the punchline.
You can read the punchline.
The entire joke is blurred out, but then it says, and the porcupine said to the anteater, "That's no giant eyeball. It's a kumquat in a hat box."
But you need the middle. This is not good. I got the punchline, but no middle. Anyway. So Steve goes on. He carries on, even though the first page is ruined.
Yeah.
And has a story in here called
Morty's back.
Morty the dog. Opossum, Old Blossom. And it involves a clown who thinks he's funny.
Yeah. It has an electrifying, the first two panels are absolutely electrifying.
Yes, because the clown thinks he's funny with the shake hands with him. He's got that buzzer in his hand.
I guess he got a joy buzzer or something there.
He thinks that's pretty funny.
He thinks that's really funny, so Morty doesn't think it's as funny.
No, Morty doesn't think that's funny at all.
He says, "It's you, Mr. Chunkles. If you want to summon me, a simple 'let's go' would suffice." To which the clown responds with more voltaic current.
Practical joker.
Yeah. And he keeps doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Morty's not too happy about. Oh, that was funny. That was good. I like this part because the clown he looks really serious. He says, you don't even, what do you say? You're not even funny. You're a clown. You never smile. He says, is there anything that would make you smile? And of course, there's another electric jolt, and then you can see the clown's face right there.
Oh my gosh! And that goes on for a number of pages. So, can't give
Hilarious.
it away. Too funny, can't give it away.
Yeah.
But it goes on for a number of pages.
Well, the clown.
And then we go to let's see here.
Well, they're going on an adventure. I'm not sure where they're going, but it's pretty out there. Their clown is taking them on an adventure, and you never know what's going to happen next. It gets in a truck, but instead of wheels, it has like feet. And the sound effect, of course, is transport. And there he is. There's Morty in there with all those little faces, those little cranium guys.
Yeah.
Those little teeny heads.
And then
funny
Steve
faces.
is in here.
Yeah.
Talking to. Let me get this right here.
Yeah.
And he is saying to Morty, "You are just lines on paper, buddy.
Yeah.
I invented you. Are you insane? I invented myself," Morty says.
Right.
But over here,
Steve Willis is spilling the beans.
yeah, Steve comes back with, I just made you say that. Your words are my words, and my words are your words.
Yep.
Morty goes, wait a minute.
Oh, you would say I invented myself. Yeah, so they have a conversation. Well,
You
but
must be lines on a paper too. Yes. Yeah. Life. Oops.
Like you,
Oh,
I'm merely.
I'm sorry. Like you, I am merely a lines on a paper residue of Willis.
So where's Steve Willis? Yes, where's Steve Willis? He says, out there.
Yeah.
So the
Pointing
actual
out
Steve
at
Willis
us.
is watching all of this, all this madness unfold.
But,
That's pretty crazy.
You just gotta. I mean, you gotta read it. We can't give it away. And
There's
too
an
many
ongoing
jokes.
There's an ongoing gag about Elvis, and then appears that Elvis pops up all this in the actual story, but actually it's Andy Kaufman, the late comedian, impersonating Elvis. So, but nothing is as it seems in this story. It's pretty wild.
Now, since the Butternut, the Buttercube brothers are not on the back, he's got somebody new on there, Mrs. Bung in the Butt. Starts her
Mrs. Bug
day.
in the Butt.
Yeah, Mrs. Bung in the Butt. I don't know whether you gotta be like, 8 years old to get this, or what, but to me it's very funny.
There's a lot of crazy stuff in here. At one point, Morty is thrust on stage, and he doesn't know why he's there, and so, somebody says, just read the cue cards. So he starts to read the cue cards, and there's a drummer nearby, right over here. So there's jokes. So everything he says, they punctuate it. Ba-ba-doom, ba-ba-da-boom.
Yeah.
And he says, one time I had a gig in a German drive-in theater only filled with people driving their Audi. But I was on stage behind them, so all I saw were the tail lights. It was a tough audience. E-N-D, audience. Think about it, folks. Might take you a minute. But, well, I mean, but he just tells one bad joke after another.
Yeah, he's the worst comedian in history.
Yeah, so they're all yelling at him, throw him off the stage. Your jokes suck. You stink. The jokes get worse and worse. Some of them are kind of funny though.
Yeah.
You see what we got here? There were some bad drug dealers in the city. The cops recruited and trained a geranium to infiltrate the gang. It was a plant. Geranium.
All right, I'm I'm going to read one.
Steve, you're killing me, man.
A monk found himself locked out of the monastery and lost his keys. But then he heard singing from just a few feet away where he dropped them. Hey, hey, we're the monkeys.
We're the monk keys.
We're the monkeys.
And bada-doom. You're awful. They're yelling, boo, boo, don't quit your day job.
Now, you can't buy this. I've told you this before. You cannot buy this. What you can do is send him a comic, or you can send him some stamps, and he will put you on his mailing list. But you can't buy it. Don't try to buy it. So he will send it to you free if you send him just the postage and maybe trade him a comic. If you got a comic you want to trade him, then he'll trade him. So that's how that works.
And you might get something like this. But it's not this side, it's the other side.
It's the other side that he'll send you, and that's an original.
Quint was slightly more linked to wild animals than most people. That's it?
That's it.
Looks rather animalistic.
Is that a Morty comic?
That is a Morty comic. This one is
normally he plants those all over McCleary, Washington.
Number 6,543.
Yeah, so he has done 6,543 of them, and he plants them all over Washington, McCleary, Washington, and I don't know where he puts them, but he puts them in hiding somewhere.
I wonder if people find these comics and then they go back looking for more.
What they think.
They start collecting them after a while, you know.
I don't know what they think when they get that. Okay, we're getting late on time.
I think we can do one more.
One more, okay, let's do one more. Which one? We got, we'll show you what we got left.
Well, we got two more.
I think you got Hump, right?
Oh, you got Hump? I didn't know we were gonna do that one. Let me see.
Oh, we don't have to do it, we can save it. You want to do it? Yeah. It's really a short one. Have you got it?
I haven't read it yet. We'll do this in the next episode.
We'll do the other one then.
But shout out to Alan Sissom. Alan Sissom, we love you, man. We'll do this next time.
Save it for next time.
I got a couple we want to do next time here. Yeah. So
yeah.
We're catching up on a lot of the stuff from the Space Con. So.
Yeah. This is maybe the last one from space. I don't know. Trick Film. And this is by
Charles Brubaker.
Yeah, Charles Brubaker. But it is pretty much kind of a review zine. Not really too much. There's some comics in it, you know, but there's a lot of reviews of other comics also.
I wonder who does that back cover. I'm not sure who does this back cover. It says copyright M.O.T. Mott. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Mott.
But distinctive, edgy back cover.
Yeah. But inside here are a bunch of. Reminds me of a lot of old review zines, the way they were done. I like this, you know, a picture of the cover of the book and then the description of the comic. And there's a bunch of them in here.
I think we're mentioned. We're mentioned in here somewhere. Larned Justin is mentioned on the bottom of page 16. Yes, indeed, Larned Justin is mentioned. There he is. Shout out, a little blurry there. One-time editor of the White Buffalo Gazette, a long-time small press maker, and the brains behind the Talking Small Press Comics show. But he does mention, and he does ask if you wanted your comics reviewed on our show, send Larned and me, send us both a copy.
There is a picture of the comic he's talking about right there, which is Two Ordinary Guys from Jupiter. That's a little mini comic that I did.
Yeah.
Sub mini comic.
That was
but
a good one,
that's what he's
too.
talking about.
Yeah.
But he also has, I like, you know, we got to show that he's doing a little Cornelia cartoons.
Oh, yeah.
Our friend Kel.
Kel Crum, you bet.
He does a little write-up on his comic. And then there's some more comics in here, just regular.
There's some comic strips. File Pile. Who's that by? Dan Variano.
Oh.
File pile. So someone
and,
is.
This one was Happy Mark by Etropolis. That's the last name, Etropolis.
But I want to say something about that file pile. You got somebody and they got all these files, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to put them. She smashes them all up, rolls them all up, and put them into a file cabinet. But you see how tall the stack is, right?
Yeah.
So she puts them in there, and this little guy, little doggy guy, comes along, opens them up, and they all come flying out. Boom! Right.
It was a little. I mean, putting the last one in there probably did it. You know.
You got them all in there, and then.
It would have been okay. Had to put in one more than you should have.
Yep. Well, here's some art by Charles Brubaker himself.
Yeah, right in the back.
Lauren Ipsum.
Right there.
Comic strip there.
So, and this is number 3. And the cost on this, let me see if I can find it.
It's free. No, it's not free.
I don't see the cost. But I got information you can find out.
Yeah.
I'll put it down in the info. I don't know how much this is.
I'd guess $3-4 maybe.
Maybe, but this would be a good deal. It's got some comics in it. It's got reviews in it.
Okay. It's got an interview.
I thought it had some movie reviews because of the name Trick Film.
Right.
I think it does, doesn't it?
I'm not sure.
Maybe I missed that.
I have to go back through it. It does have an interview with Josh Nickerson, who is an artist. He does a comic, web comic called Nolan's, and he has a graphic novel called Midshift. He does mini comics. Some of his stuff was collected into a paperback, Mini Comic Madness, and you can see some of Josh Nickerson's work here.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
You can see.
I wanted to mention that the news from the comics community is compiled by Micah Leisenfeld.
Oh yeah. He's mentioning the editorial in the front.
But Micah helps out with that, and Micah doesn't live too far from me. Little ways, not far.
Micah, he's a pal of the show, and we're always interested in anything that he's involved with. And so this is certainly good.
He does a lot of reviews. He's excellent at it.
Now I don't know. There's a strip called Happy Mark by Ed Tropolis. Now I don't know. It reminds me of Joseph Morris. I don't think it's Joseph Morris, but it's very similar type of style.
It's a little different. Probably that's the one you're talking about. It's a little different than Joe's style.
Yeah.
It's similar. I would say it's similar.
Interesting.
I don't think it's Joe. I think it is this Etropolis because he's got a Patreon page, Etropolis.
Okay.
It says right down on the bottom that he has a Patreon page.
Pretty funny. Not quite. Maybe not quite as cosmically wild and wacky as Joseph Morris's work.
Yeah.
Well, here's another nice page from Josh Nickerson. This is really nice here.
Oh yeah.
I think that's Josh Nickerson there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice inking on that.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, I think we have done it. We've tried to not
watching the clock, trying not to go over an hour.
Yeah, we're trying, and I think we might have done it. So we'll save whatever we have for next time. Don't know, you're going to have to subscribe and hit the bell notification to know when we're on again next. We never know quite when we'll be on, but...
yeah, I'm going on vacation. I'm going to North Carolina to see my brothers and sisters.
So you'll be gone a little bit. Not too long, though, right?
Probably I'll be gone all next week. And I won't have time to do another show this week. So it'll be approximately 2 weeks when we do the next show.
Yeah, so... You can digest this show in the meantime.
Yeah. And I also have another. I have another channel. It's called the Classic Comics Man channel. If you want to check that, I got some new videos up in there.
Yeah, reviews, comic reviews,
I just might work in one more video before this weekend on that channel. If you want to check it out, just type in the Classic Comics Man, and you'll find it. And,
all right.
So it's some of the stuff we don't review here. Also, we have a Patreon page.
Yes, we do.
And it's only $3 per month, and you get
anything
videos.
Any profits that we get from that, we put back into this show to buy some comics that you don't normally see.
Right.
So we're doing that. We've already bought some, so we're doing that.
Yeah.
And we will, I guess, see you next time.
That was it. 50 videos, folks.
50. We'll be back with 51.
All right. See you next time.
Bye.